So today we're going to finish the jealousy element of our discussion, competitiveness. Let's call it competitiveness. What I want to do today is actually to give you tools, because competitiveness is one of the midas that can be crippling. So it's not guaranteed to be motivating. Like the Pasuk says, that it rots your bones. It has this capacity that it immobilizes you and actually does exactly the opposite. So we're trying to take all of our good intentions and attach onto it a bit of a yetzer hara, a bit of a drive, all the things that we've explored, but here a competitiveness to make us super good, to make us, tov ma'od. But jealousy can actually crush you. So today, hopefully, I'm just going to share with you tools to make sure that you utilize it, harness it in a way which is actually productive. Rav Leuchter taught me this, it stuck with me always. He said the mantra of your yetzer hara, the way it speaks in competitiveness, its words are, he said it in Hebrew, I did it in Hebrew, he says, Lama li lo? Why not me? That's how competitiveness works. So in English, why not me? We see someone has something, does something, achieves something, you look at them and you think, but why not me? That's the way it works, okay? Now that's the question that yetzer hara of competitiveness is going to ask you your whole life. It doesn't get cleverer and more sophisticated. It's always going to say, Lama li lo? Why not me? Why not me? Why not me? And today we're going to unpack that question so that when it asks you that question, you're going to have a productive response to that, and it's going to actually make you move forward, okay? The first one, the most important principle, and this is, I think, just a part of growing up, actually, is that, I'll share it with you actually from the Pasuk, when the Jewish people worship the golden calf, and Moshe is davening to Hashem to forgive them. Moshe says to Hashem, I don't understand why you're upset. Why are you upset? He says, Lama yecher apcha b'amecha? Why are you getting so angry with these people? So, I mean, that's a ridiculous question. They just worship the golden calf. We told them not to. But this is what Moshe said. The Rashi explains, what was Moshe's argument to Hashem? Lama Hashem yechere apcha b'amecha? Hashem, why are you getting so worked up and angry over this nation? Rashi says, what was Moshe saying to Hashem? Klum mitkaneh ela chochem b'chochem gibor b'gibor. There's no such thing as jealousy in this world except a wise person for another wise person, a powerful person for another powerful person. You're jealous over a golden calf. I don't get it. It's like not in your world. Well, just get over yourself, Moshe says. There's no platform for competitiveness here. It's just not your world. That was Moshe's taina to Hashem. Hashem got over it. Okay? For that and other reasons. But Moshe's primary thing, he defined so beautifully how jealousy works. Jealousy only works if you're in the same arena with the person. If you are wise and they're a little bit wiser, then there's space for jealousy and competitiveness. If they're powerful and you powerful and they're a little bit more powerful, then there's space for jealousy. You're playing in the same space. That's why the Ramchal says that people in the same industry, in their businesses, the jealousy is burns there, because it's like it's shaykh to you. It's in your world. It could be you. When that yetzer hara says, why not me? It actually could be you. It's actually speaking in your world. That's where jealousy plays its place. Part of growing up is to know what is not your arena. Because that helps you deal with a lot of jealousy and a lot of competitive in space where you are not competing. You are not a player. This is not your strengths. This is not your area. And when jealousy when we have an unrealistic sense of self, and we believe in ourselves so much and think you can do everything everywhere, so jealousy then plays itself out throughout your whole life, and it will do a terrible thing to you. It will push you to strive in areas which you are weak, which are not your arena, you were not created for, not built for. And that's what Rav Wolbe says when the Mishnah says that kinna takes you out this world. It's that. It makes you want to be like other people who were built differently, skilled differently, have different passions, different roles, but you can't discern. And so your jealousy drives you out of your own world, because it pushes you into a space which is just not your talent area, not the place where Hashem wants you to play. So that's the first thing. Moshe says to Hashem, jealousy only plays in a place which is your arena. If you are delusional and think that could be good at everything and everything you're capable of, it will speak to you in every single area of your life, and it's going to drive you mad, and it's going to defocus you from the place that you're actually supposed to be putting in effort. So the first way of harnessing jealousy is, first of all, to protect yourself, that it doesn't activate itself in areas which are not my arena. And that takes growing up. I think probably for myself, the things which I think allowed me to grow the most were not identifying where I was good. It was actually accepting where I was pathetic and moving on, and never trying to fix that and adjust that, especially in a business context, for example. Just hire someone who's good at that. It's like, it's okay. It's okay not to be good at some things. But when you liberate yourself from the things you're not good at, and they don't worry about them anymore, and you don't get jealous of the people and competitive with the people, the things which you're just never going to be, then you can actually hone yourself in and focus on the things where you actually do have raw talent, where you do have raw passion, and then with a bit of competitiveness, you can become excellent in that. I'm going to explain how that works as well. But it can't play in every area of your life, because it's going to be terribly distracting, terribly destructive, and it's going to literally take you out of this world. It's going to make you live a life which is not your life. And I think a lot of social pressures that people feel, that we feel in our lives, whatever, I'm not going into it all, but it's this that's pushing you into a world where the starting point of why you made the decision was not looking within. It was actually looking at someone without and actually modeling yourself on them, but you didn't actually see that you're just different. Never going to be them. Really look at yourself, reflect at yourself, compare yourself to people who are more like you and better than you, but like you and better than you. That's a space where you can actually work. Okay. So I'd say the first space is when the Yetzer Hara says to me, why not me? Because you're useless at that. Now move on. That would be a great answer to that Yetzer Hara, because you're starting to cut off areas that are just not my space and not my domain, and feeling very relaxed about that, because there's no one who's good at everything in this world. Okay. Why not me? Oh, are you joking? Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. Good. Now, the next thing to know is this, that, and I think this is also very important, when your Yetzer Hara says to you, but how come they've got that and not me? It asks usually in a very rhetorical way, as if to say, like, it's inexplicable. Do you understand? Like, well, but like, why them and not me? It asks in a way where you like, the me throws up its hands in disbelief, and it can't work out like what's actually going on here, that this should be such a differential in our lives with somebody who's like just like me. Now, actually, the truth is, the results of people's lives are different, Because they did something different. It's not a fluke. 99% of the time, it's not just good luck. If you would actually probe and look, you would see, why not me? For a very good reason. Very good reason. But you have to be brave enough to embrace that and to be able to look it in the eyes and investigate deeply and actually say, why not me? There must be a reason. And then you go and probe that. When the Torah says that Rachel was jealous of Leah, that she was having children and Rachel wasn't, she didn't just say, why not? This is not a fair world. What's not me? Jacob loved me, now I've got no, what's going on here? Why not me? Torah says she was jealous. She was jealous of her actions. And she said, why not me? There must be a reason. She must be better than me. That's what Rashi says. Her Maasim Tovim must be better. And therefore, on that schus, she's being blessed with children. That is a responsible way of answering why not me, because that propels action. That made Rachel do something. And she said, I'm going to show Hashem that I want to be a mother of the Jewish people much more than Leah. More. Just hasn't been revealed yet. I'm going to take my maidservant and I'm going to give her to the most intimate space. My most jealous and possessive space in my life is my relationship with my husband. I'm prepared to give that up to just bear one child, which won't even be my own genetic child, but I'll be able to educate a Jewish child to be one of the Shvatim. But you understand, her jealousy for her sister propelled actions, because when she said, why not me? She didn't leave it as a rhetorical question that's just inexplicable. I'm much better, much nicer. My husband loves me more. I just don't understand it. And just left wallowing in your sorrows and no movement. She said, I see a discrepancy here. The outcome of her life is looking different to the outcome of my life. When I ask myself, why not me? There must be an answer. And my go-to place, says Rachel, is that spiritually she's doing things much better than me. She must be. It's not fluke. These things don't happen for fluke. The inputs are different, and that's why the outputs look different. And so she made a decision to change the spiritual inputs of her life, make tremendous expression of self-sacrifice to educate a Jewish child, and with that she was rewarded with 2 children, and then afterwards with Joseph and Benjamin, children of her own. But the Yetzer Hara's way of addressing this, the competitive way that it gets you, is to ask it in a rhetorical way. Why not me? As if there's just inexplicable. Don't let it. You must say, there must be good reason why not me, but it could be me if I would be prepared to put in the same inputs. Now let me investigate. What's the other person doing differently to me, physically, stadlus, spiritually, that actually could be producing a different result? I've seen that a lot in my own just practical life, that it's my own mantra, that the outcome's different because the people's inputs were different. That's the default. The 1 in a million, I don't even know if they exist, that just happen to be lucky. It's very, very rare. Usually, the outcome's different because the inputs were very, very different. And if you want to know why not me, and you want that competitiveness to drive action, then you have to look at your personal inputs and how they differ, and see if that correlates to why the outputs are different.
If you see someone is more successful than you can say, okay, it's not my journey to be successful, that's not my arena. But if the second one says, well, they did more inputs, I must work harder, study more, then it's saying it is my arena, so I want to fight in that. So do you exit the arena or just stay in the arena and try to change your input?
That's for your own honesty. So you have to be honest and realistic with yourself if it is your arena or it is not your arena. I can't tell you that. But if you're in the watch industry and there's a watch guy who's doing better than you and winning all the agencies, so then you go and you think, like, you've done stuff in that space, so you know that you can succeed there. But why is he winning all the new brands and you're not? So then you can say, like, well, why him and not me, and get all angry and aggro. And then like, hold on a second. No, he traveled 8 times this year to Switzerland, and I got tired of traveling to Switzerland. You can then say, there's a reason why he's winning. And then you have to make a call. Do I want to change my inputs to actually understand? But that's you playing in a space. But if there's your next door neighbor's running comrades, don't have to be jealous of that. Because it's just not your space. It just never has been, never will be, and that you can move on. I don't say it's like but it's a personal assessment of what you can potentially be. But I don't know how else to say it. But usually in these things, your wife's the best. She'll tell you what's your arena and what's not your arena. She knows. You know what I'm saying? I told my wife when I was in Israel that, I don't know if I told you this, I told her, she said, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, like, I think I want to be like Rosh Sternberg. She just like burst out laughing in my face, you know. She said, like, are you joking? Like, nah, not you, nah. So, okay, never mind him. Like, maybe Rabiel Raven, like my Maggid Shir from the Mir. She said, lost your marbles. Like, it was like, what are you like aspiring to be like people who are not in your arena? Just look at you. Look how you grew up in Santon. You just, please, like, get down to earth and like get normal. But I'm telling you, those feelings were built from competitiveness. Because I'm a competitive person and I want to be the best. So when I was in Har Nof, living in Yerushalayim, learning in the Mir, I wanted to be the Maggid Shir in the Mir. That's the way the jealousy and the competitiveness works. And she had to say to me, wakey, wakey, brother, you're like living in La La Land. Like, it's nice to be here, but you ain't going to be that. So that's part of just, whatever. It's in learning for myself, or whatever, all these things. You have to just know realism and then an aspiration as well. That's personal, very personal. Yeah.
But in that time that you were in learning there, in the space that you wouldn't call your arena, your competitiveness did help you.
Definitely. But it could have made me stay in the Mir my whole life. To try and become like Rabiel. Mm-hmm. Could have, that would have, just being honest with you now, this has taken me 25 years to say this, but that would have taken me out of my world. That's not what Hashem made me for. I would have missed out on a whole life because that competitiveness would have locked me into a aspiration to be the best in the world, which I wasn't created for. And I would never have made it. Never. Just wasn't built for it. So that's hard to acknowledge. But once I could acknowledge that, I've been like liberated. Like, this is the world I was created for. Here I can be the best in my world. And there's people who are better than me, and it makes me want to aspire. But I don't want to be a Rabiel anymore. It's just like not my world. It did help me, and I'm very grateful for it during that period. But someone had to tell me at the end, okay, this is enough. Now you've lost it. It's too much now. Like I know from I just say just simple things myself. I'm just sharing my inner world to you. But like an Apple Watch, I could never buy an Apple Watch because I'm too competitive. I would burn myself out of running. Because I would be checking my times all the time, wanting to beat it, getting better and better and better. Now I know the only way that's kept me running for the last, 2-3 years is that I run without a watch. I don't know my times. I don't know exactly how far I've run. And that's safe for me. That's safe. Because this competitive thing in me, it will burn me out of running. It has many times in my life. I never exercised for 15 years after one period of life where that's it. So you have to know like your competitive spirit and give it its place in a space where it can actually work for you and help you. Okay. So why not me? Our first question is, you're joking. Move on, Brady. It's not your world. Okay. The second answer is, well, I'm sure there's a good reason why not you. Outputs are different. Because inputs are different. And bravely look at the inputs. And if you're prepared to change, perhaps then you can hope that the output will be different. If you're not prepared to change the inputs, then it's going to be not you forever. That's just the way life's going to take you. And then I want to share with you one last thing. And that's this, is that the Ramchal says in the fourth parak in Mesilas Yesharim, he's describing how to become careful in mitzvahs, how to develop this trait called Zehirus, which is like the starting point of growth, that you're actually fastidiously careful not to do Aveiros. What makes you do that? So he says there's 3 different levels of people, and each different level is motivated by something different to drive them to be careful. What he describes now, he says that for the second highest level of people, which I'm telling you is not even us. It's not us. I don't think I can guarantee you almost there's no one sitting in this room that's on this. That we're on the third. If we're lucky, don't even think the third even speaks to us. But the second highest level, he says, what drives a person to be careful is competitiveness. And he says you have to harness your competitiveness to make you into the most incredible servant of Hashem that you could ever imagine. And then he goes on to explain exactly how to do it. And I'm going to do it not in his words, but you can look it up for yourself. The category calls Lapchutim Mehem, those who are just a little bit lower than the highest level. You need to use your competitive spirit in order to drive you in your service to Hashem. And he says the following thing. This is now in my words. You'll read it, you'll see it says exactly the same thing, but I think this will be able to be more exciting than me just reading the words. He says there's nothing more painful in this world than somebody who is less talented than you, who has less abilities than you, that gets promoted above you at work. And it's a bit of the pain that a lot of people in South Africa live with at the moment, that actually your ability, your talent, your contributions are actually overlooked, and for other reasons people are put ahead of you. He said that's a pain that a person can't live with in this world. I know lots of people who they were doing brilliantly in their jobs, brilliantly, and then the manager left and there was an opportunity for a promotion, and they'd never picked the person who they, in their mind, was the best person for the role. They picked someone else. And then after that, they leave. They can't stay. They were doing great. They can't live in a space where there's somebody who's I know is less talented, doing less than me, not as good as me, and they're being noticed and I'm not being noticed. They can't continue in that environment. Okay? Absolutely breaks you. So the Ramchal says, you must know that feeling of competitiveness which breaks you in this world. He said what they're being valued for is of no consequence in life. It's of no long-term value. They're being assessed or misassessed. There could be even an error of judgment from the leadership that they picked the wrong person to take the role even. But even if they pick the right person, the thing that they value in them is of no spiritual consequence, doesn't change your life in any way, and yet it's breaking you. She says, you know what's going to happen when you get to the world to come? He says, in Olam Haba, the levels there are assessed based on your spiritual inputs here. But the measurement is perfect. And it's an absolute reflection of your essence, of actually who you are by God. And there are going to be people there who are going to have had less resources than you, a harder start, less talent, way up above you. And it's going to be exposed for everyone, and it's going to be a reflection of your essence. She said, do you know what Olam Haba is going to be like for you? And you can't leave. You can't resign. It's going to be exposed for everybody to have. So he said that feeling of knowing that jealousy doesn't go away when you die. It comes with you. And there it's going to be a feeling over the most valuable things that you could have done in this world. The Torah you learned, the mitzvahs you did, the relationships you built, the people you helped, the kindness you expressed in this world, the relationship you have with God. The actual core of who you are is going to be measured there, and up your rank will be there for everybody to see, and you won't be able to run away. And he says, when you realize that, for us it just breaks us. Okay, I'm just telling you, but for the people on the second highest level, that makes them go sugar about mitzvahs. But all he did was he took their natural competitiveness and he says it expresses itself naturally in a physical world. But there's a pathetic place for your competitiveness to express itself. The real place where it's got to express itself is in the spiritual world. And what affects that is your Torah and your mitzvahs and your avodas Hashem. And there it's going to cause pain much more intense than the pain of a weaker guy getting a promotion above you here. That, he says, will motivate a person to the most unbelievable level of Torah and mitzvahs. To us, I'm just sharing with you only because I want you to see that the Ramchal is harnessing this midah. He's taking it and he's using it to drive people to do tov ma'od things, unbelievable things in their service to Hashem, but it's at a certain level of avodah. And for us, I think it's not so accessible. It actually hurts a bit. But I want to share with you one experience that I had. There's this one guy that, I'm just, again, today's a day, or every day is for honesty, every day is honesty. Like, Shem is a type of an oak, He's not like an oak, he's like really going to do much in his life. That's just the way it is. And he's a sweetie, whatever. And I once came to Osamach Beis Medrash. And he was sitting with a young boy at the table, and he was teaching him Zvachim. Okay? The Masechta which deals with all the Korbanos. And I nearly collapsed on the spot, and I thought like this. Yeah, it's coming. My time is coming. Zvachim. He's teaching him Zvachim. I've never opened a mission in Zvachim. I don't even know what it talks about. And he's giving a shir in Zvachim. When that moment comes and I arrive in Olam Haba, I'm going to be looking like this, and it's going to be the rest of my eternity is going to be the suffering that of this person who I had much more talents, much more abilities to do than he had as well. But he knows Zvachim. That's a productive way to utilize competitiveness, but to actually know that it's very real, this world, the feelings are real, they're much more real in that world, and in that world, the pain is from the actual real reality of who I really am. I can't hide from anybody, and I won't be able to escape it. And therefore, says the Ramchal, now in this world, when you think, why do people have these things? Why they've got it, not me? It should propel you to change the spiritual actions, which are ultimately what are going to be the things which count, to completely transform your role, your place, your rank, whatever you want to call it, in the next world, which is a byproduct only of your actions in this world. Okay, so just in summary, competitiveness, it's a very powerful midah. It can make you tov ma'od. The medrash which we learned to start off the series actually uses this as the driving force which drives you to get married, build a house, get married, have children, go to work. This is the driving force that goes through everything. Its way it speaks to you, it says, why not me? And that you have to be very careful of this Yetzer Hara, because that why not me can break you and debilitate you. The first way not to get debilitated is to answer it and say, it's obvious why not me. That's not my arena. Let's move on. Let that person be brilliant in their space. I will never be brilliant in that space. Let's move on. The next thing to answer is when it says, why not me? The answer is because different outputs have different inputs. There must be different inputs that are changing the result of this person's outputs, like Rachel had for Leah, and let it force introspection and change and adjustment in your spiritual actions first, and then your physical inputs after that. And then the third thing is, the Ramchal says, when you get caught up in the why not me in this world, you should know there's also a why not me in the next world, and that's a much more worrying question to deal with. And that question should propel a person to learn more, be careful in the mitzvahs, attend minyanim, be a part of Hashem's will, do chesed for people, because it's that why not me which we're going to have no answers for, and which will be very, very exposing and revealing for us in our lives. Okay.